Morning again, everyone. Thank you again for joining us here at ArcBlock DevCon 2020. Let me go and introduce you to our next speakers. So the team from AURO Cloud is actually coming to us all the way from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And they've been a strategic partner of ArcBlock for more than a year now. And I couldn't actually be more excited that they're here to share about AURO and what they're doing and how they're working with ArcBlock and ABT nodes. So let me introduce Chloe Tottem, VP of Sales at AURO Cloud, and Matt Czajka, Senior Systems Administrator of AURO Cloud. It's all yours.
Hi, everyone.
Right.
Hi. So today we're just going to talk about our partnership with ArcBlock and give you a bit of background about AURO as a company and our platform as well. Okay. So essentially, AURO is a public cloud platform that's hosted in Canada. We're 100% Canadian owned and operated. So I suppose what's key there is that security and privacy side of things. We offer Canadian hosting, which obviously is in line with Canadian privacy laws. And yeah, we're headquartered in Vancouver and also have arrays over in Toronto as well. We're also SOC 2 compliant, and we focus on offering a flexible platform for developers to use to build applications, which is kind of where our partnership with ArcBlock was born. Okay. So essentially, just to kind of go over a few details of why this is relevant to this kind of technology. Essentially, cloud offers a scalable platform, which is excellent for developers to test out applications, try out new technology, and things like that, mainly because it offers a lot of cost efficiencies. So you only have to deploy what you need. So if you are trying to build a new technology into an application or a new application altogether, it allows you to just use what you need and just pay for what you need. Also, the platform itself is OpenStack, which is an open source cloud technology. So there is a big cost reduction around not having to worry about licensing for the cloud platform and just offering that general flexibility and easy access. Okay. So here are a few details of our platform and the way that we can deploy our cloud technology. We obviously have a public cloud platform. You can sign up, you can start deploying ABT node or plain instances, Linux flavors, Windows flavors, anything you need for your projects. We have different deployment methodologies. So some of our clients prefer to have more of a private deployment, generally for security or accessibility reasons. So we do offer like more of a private and hybrid option if that's needed as well. The great thing about OpenStack is that it has the APIs so that you can provide provide like a true hybrid deployment if you need to. We also offer professional services. So this is kind of one thing that differentiates AURO and our blockchain as a service is that we do have engineers to assist you in your deployment. There is that kind of gray area that we find between the software layer and the infrastructure layer where you sometimes do need that addition. As a developer, you might need additional infrastructure advice and support. And that's kind of where we come in. And Matt will be kind of going through exactly how the service helps you kind of use cloud technology better and easier as well. Okay. So this is a bit of an overview of the way that our platform is designed and architected. So just to give you an idea at a high level, we have a multitude of compute nodes on which you can deploy the compute that you need. There's variable sizes in machines that you can choose from, and then they have a kind of cost against them. It's all metered usage, so it's per hour that you need to use the cloud platform. We also have two different types of storage. There's block storage, which is a block volume that you can connect to an instance, and then there's also object storage that you can use for snapshots, anything that you need during your development cycle, just to ensure that you can retain that data and the work that you've done, but at a lower cost. And I think Matt will probably go into a bit of detail while he's going through his demo as well. Okay. So security is something that's pretty inherent to our approach when it comes to cloud. We offer a lot of kind of security services on top of our standard platform offering. So, I mean, this is pretty relevant at the moment in terms of being able to, secure your application and obtain like the assistance and the resources that you need to ensure that that's done. So this kind of just gives you an idea of what's available and what you can benefit from really from using this type of platform. Okay. And again, high availability is something that's pretty important when it comes to building applications and really important to our customers. So firstly, everything that's architected behind the scenes as part of AURO is built on multi-homed and multi-path networks, so that we can offer diverse connectivity in data center and throughout the region as well. We also do assist with any sort of like cloud orchestration needs. So again, it depends on how you're going to architect and build your application. But there are lots of options that you can build into the application and into the platform that would enable like a highly available environment for your application as well. So you can do clustering. There's also a built-in backup service as well. There's lots of options around that. Okay. And then compliance, as I touched on before with the security side of things, it kind of goes hand in hand. As a provider, we do follow a certain level of compliance. We're STAR certified. We also have our SOC 2 Type 2 compliance. So we follow a lot of very regimented processes in order to deliver the services to our customers as well. Okay. And then this gives you an idea of what OpenStack can do, essentially. So obviously there are a number of public cloud providers that you can use, and there's a lot of choices out there. But one thing about OpenStack is that since it does have open APIs, it's open source, you can integrate your application with other clouds as well. So, or even your internal stack. So there's a lot of flexibility and interoperability that you can build in to what you're doing. So it's not a case of being locked into one vendor when it comes to OpenStack technology. So again, it's a great platform to build on just because it gives you that flexibility. Okay.
All right.
And I think now I'm going to hand over to Matthew Czajka, who's our senior OpenStack engineer, and he's been doing a lot with our customers using deploying ABT nodes and enabling them to use this excellent technology for building really great apps and really exciting projects. So I think Matt's going to go through exactly how you can do that, extremely easily on AURO.
All right, great. Thanks, Chloe. Yeah, I'm Matt, and I'll get started here. So I'll be going through AURO, and what you'll see when you first start signing up. Just to log into an account here. So this is AURO. There we go. So this is the AURO GUI. So this is what you'll initially see after you sign up. AURO is built, as was said, on OpenStack, which is an entirely open source project. It's made up of a bunch of different projects made by developers worldwide. It's mostly based on Python. The way it works is all these projects all work together to develop the different components of the AURO of the OpenStack environment. So the compute, the networking, the storage components, the identity components, and a lot of other different features. They're all built by all these different teams all around the world, and it's all open source. There's a lot of companies that use OpenStack. Some big ones are like Disney were using them, Netflix uses them. It was very big in CERN. I think CERN is still using quite a lot of OpenStack nodes, and they've been actually helping with developing mostly the storage aspects of OpenStack.
Yeah, they have the second biggest OpenStack deployment.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, and they've been with OpenStack since the beginning. Been using quite a bit. Yeah. So in terms of public clouds for OpenStack, there's kind of an OpenStack ecosystem where a lot of public clouds are held to like a similar standard. So one of the cool things you can do is with a single API, you'd be able to deploy across like multiple regions and nodes and such. So you're not like vendor locked in at all either. And that's kind of like one of the goals from the whole OpenStack project is to have like no lock-in at any way, shape or form. Yeah. So as for what you can do with OpenStack, since it's open source, you can build up your own OpenStack cluster even. You can just boot up a cluster at any time. You can play around with it if you'd like. If you're really into like deving or like hacking into the systems and stuff, you can set up your own cluster using Ansible scripts. There's a project from OpenStack called Kala, which is deploying everything containerized for the entire system. Everything runs in containers. And there's a DevStack, which is like a nice, easy script that you can use to just like boot up a small little environment you can play around with. And if you're starting to do things on production, but you want to test out like deployment scripts or anything like that, you can boot up your own little OpenStack cluster and like test out your deployment scripts on there before you do something on production or boot up a bunch of instances and get charged for it or whatever. Yeah, as was said, there's a fully open API and CLI. So on top of being able to manage everything via the GUI here, you would be able to use CLI commands and API commands to boot up your instances, manage them. With that, you can also use deployment managers like Ansible to like deploy a cluster, edit things across like multiple nodes, and set up things like continuous integration and auto scaling and stuff. So yeah, so that's an overview of OpenStack here. I'll go over like some of the things you can do. So of course, here's like the instances, the main part. You'll be able to see all of your different instances here. And this component is called a Nova. As you can see, there's an internal IP, which is 10.10.0.23 on this one, and then an external IP. So with OpenStack, all of your instances are built on their own private network. You have your own separate private network for all the instances, and you can also create additional private networks. So if you boot up an instance, it can publicly access the internet via like a virtual router that's set up, but outside connections can't reach your instance. So it's great for having like a web server and a database server. So the database server wouldn't have public access, but the web server would be public facing. There's a lot of cool security features included just with that. And then you would just be able to attach a floating IP, which is a public IP, to your instance to give it public access. There's a number of images that we offer by default. And one of the great things is, as you build an instance, if you build like a gold image, you can create a snapshot of that image and then build an exact copy of that image for your use. So if you're playing around or messing around with something, you can create a snapshot of your image first, and then if you did change some configs during your testing and it didn't work out very well, you can just revert back to your snapshot. And you have like full access to do this at any time via the GUI or CLI even. Access to instances is mostly via SSH key pairs. So you would upload your private key and then you would just SSH with the key. There are ways that you can set up passwords, but this is like the main way, setting up keys. As for storage, so an instance has some default storage for like the root drive and everything like that, but they're not very big because OpenStack, the whole philosophy is having like multiple instances, but you can attach additional storage and they're called volumes. And with volumes, you can just boot up a huge like storage drive. It's like a virtual storage drive. You can plug it into an instance and then unplug it and then plug it into another instance with no issues. It's pretty much exactly as if you were just plugging in like a USB hard drive to an instance. And you can also create snapshots of volumes as well. There's also, for storage, there's object storage, which is kind of like a Dropbox style storage option. So you would just be able to create like a container would be like a file, like a folder. So just put some stuff in here. And then from there, you can just upload data to it. You can create them. You can give public access to these folders as well, containers as well. So if you're sharing files, or if you're going to show if you're going to have like pictures on your website or something, you can have those pictures hosted just like via here. Because once you enable public access, there's a public link to it. So if you have something in here, you can just have this load up and be public, and not have to upload files or folders to like your web server. You would just have it hosted on here and then have nice, easy public access to it. And then just a little quick look at how the network works. So here, let's do this. So you can see like I have a little internal network here. Then you have your virtual router, which is always set up for you right away when you sign up for an account with us, and the provider network. And this provider network leads to the public. So all of your instances here are protected until you attach a floating IP. Then they can access the internet outside. On top of that, there's security groups for networking, and these are like firewall rules for your network. So you can manage all your rules and have separate firewall rules for all of your instances. And this is before it reaches the instance. So instead of having IP tables set up or something like that, this is all on the virtual router, the network side. So you can see there's some pre-set up rules, and you can make custom rules for all the ports. So it's a nice rundown of OpenStack. Let's get started with ABT node. So With ABT, what you need first is you have to have node set up. So I'm just going to do a quick pull of node. This depends on which OS you're running. I'm just using Ubuntu, but there's a lot of different ways to install it, depending on which OS you're running. But I'll just get this going here. Okay, I got it on here. Sometimes there's a dependency like that for building a node application. I'm just going to run get build essential, which is required for Ubuntu. And then when you have something like this set up, you'd be able to create a like an image of this, of like a pre-set up environment with Node and with any other requirements you have. Create a snapshot of that, and then you can just boot that instance up whenever you need. Yeah, okay. So that's pretty much it. That varies depending on what kind of OS you're running. So I'm just going to get started with ABT. So I already have this instance set up. I already have Node on here, and I have MongoDB set up. It was just a quick, easy, like pull MongoDB and didn't do any additional configurations for it, just for this demo. So for now, let's see where I'm at. Yeah. So ArcBlock is a Node package. So npm install. Get that going. Yeah. So with a snapshot, you would even be able to create a snapshot of an instance with this installed. You'd be able to do that whenever you need, and then just spool up these instances with everything pre-installed for you at any time you want. Yeah, and that is pretty great, especially if you're going to be you're just going to be deploying via CLI scripts or something like Ansible. You would just be able to get them going. See what's going on here. See if it'll just. Sorry. Let's start up. Okay. All right. So yeah, I'll just name it basic default things for now. Yeah, it'll store in /root/ABT node. If you need a lot of storage, because ABT can start using a bunch, you can attach a volume to your instance and just change the store data to that volume. You can do that. Yeah, set it to the public IP. Port is default 8089. Yeah, grab them from ArcBlock, and yeah, you're done. And I'll just do ABT node start. And just like that, it should be good to go. So I'll just pull it up here. And yeah, ABT is good to go. So I'll just log in here and do a little demo of what you can do. Gotta log in with your phone. There's a little QR code to pull up and log in and authenticate. And this will add this node to your phone's list of nodes. Yeah, I'll just get this set up here. And then here's the node dashboard. So from here, you'd be able to manage all the different blocklets that you have. Shows you information about this node here. So yeah, let's start and install some blocklets. So first off, I'm just going to do like the static website demo here. So this builds just a static HTML5 site with a game, and it's all quickly done. See that it downloaded it and installed it that quick, and then I'm just starting it, and then it's good to go. And it's 2048. If everybody remembers this game, I used to play it quite a bit, and now I'm really bad at it. But yeah, it's just that quick and easy to get one of these blocklets up. And this is all running with blockchain in the back end, which is pretty neat. Let's see what else we can. There's the let's see, the Blockchain Explorer, and it's great how quickly all these packages install and run. It's quite impressive. Just like install it right there, start it, and from here you can see like this will pull up a bunch of things about the blockchain environments and such. So here's just like a playground blockchain they have set up. You can see like what's going on in it, how many transactions there were, what's going on. If you want to like play around and see like what. There's another one, Wallet Playground. Set up a Mongo URI. So I have a MongoDB environment set up in the back. It's literally just on this node that's running this, but you can have that set up in like a separate node as well. So some of these require MongoDB, so I'm just gonna configure that and give it a database, which would be wallet. And then I can start this off. All right, and just like that, public interface is set up. It sets it up on a separate port, so there's no conflicts there. Do a little sign in here. And with this, all you would just be doing is opening up your app, scanning the QR code, and just swiping to confirm your login, and then you're good to go. You can get these different cryptocurrencies, and you can like swap them around. So let's say I get 10 of these. Yeah, swipe to confirm. And now that should show up in my profile here. Yeah, so I have 10 of these. Little playground introduction to all this blockchain. So yeah, lastly, I'm going to go over what I think is probably but is really cool is the DID Connect, which is a authentication service built with blockchain in the back end. Just get this installed. Open it up. And this one also requires a MongoDB in the backend. So I'm just gonna throw one up here. And start this off. And just like that, it booted up. Nice and easy. So I'll go to the public interface for this. Connect this to my wallet. QR code scan. Swipe to confirm. And from here, I'll just set up a new application. So this would be like, this is like a decentralized identity service. So you can hook this up to your applications and such to have like a decentralized identity service, all with the blockchain in the back end. It's all encrypted. And it's all nice and easy to authenticate and use with your phone and everything. So app one, this is app. And leave this blank for now because I actually don't have a